What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got a new Transformers card to talk about, which shouldn't surprise you, if I'm perfectly honest, because there's been quite a lot of new Transformers cards we've been talking about lately. They have been revealed by the lovely folks at the Transformers trading card game, community reveals, all that good stuff. Today, though, we've got one that's revealed by the company. It's Quartermaster, and it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It is an action card and it's got a white icon, which is nice. It means that if you flip it while attacking or defending and you've not yet flipped a white icon card, you may flip 2 extra cards, whether you're attacking or defending. This is good. But what does this one actually do? It reads, choose one. Move an upgrade from one of your characters to another one. Meh. Put a Battle Master upgrade from your KO area onto one of your characters. Now, it's a second bit here that we are really excited about. Now, to be fair, the first option here, moving an upgrade, I mean, look, swap parts literally got banned, and swap parts moves upgrades. Now, one of the things to remember here is that when you're moving upgrades, you can still only move it onto the appropriate character. So let's use Field Communicator as an example here, because that's a card that I was lucky enough to be able to reveal, but also a card that I like very much indeed. So, Field Communicator then. When you attach it to a specialist, you get to look at the top card of your deck and you may play it. But if you attach it to a non-specialist, no. No. You can put it on a non-specialist, you get the +1 attack, you just don't get the benefit of the skill when you attach it to a non-specialist. But similarly, if you swap it, you get the skill again. So if you take a specialist, let's say Shockwave, and you attach this, you get to play the top card of your deck. If you then swap it from Shockwave to another specialist, let's say Soundwave, you get to play the top card of your deck. So swapping it, it's not just about getting the right extra attack, the right extra defense, etc. There's stuff like Force Field where you can swap it from one character to another if you think your opponent is going to start going after another character, one that doesn't have the Force Field. And stuff like that is great. But one of the best uses for switching around upgrades is to get the benefit of the ability for attaching it. And to go back to swap parts then, swap parts was genuinely, legitimately over the top broken. You see, swap parts let you swap all of the upgrades on 2 characters. The problem is you could have a Field Communicator on both of your characters, and then you can have a multi-mission gear and a multi-tool on both of the characters. One lets you play an extra action, the other one lets you play an extra upgrade. And then when you play swap parts, you have 6 extra things going on. You get to play 2 actions, you get to play 2 upgrades, you get to play the top 2 cards of your deck. This is not swap parts. It's cool. It's useful. There will be times where this comes in really handy to move an upgrade from one character to another. But it's nowhere near as good as swap parts was. If we go to the specialist example, it is 1/6 as good as swap parts. If you want that as a percentage, it's just a shade under 17%. So make no mistake about it, decent, but it's a bonus. It's not a great reason to play it. And look, I say stuff like this, you might have a great reason to play this. You might have a particular upgrade on which you're relying, that you want to switch around characters, or maybe you're playing armed hovercraft, and you just want to spread as much damage as you can, so you play a bunch of ranged characters, you play 3 armed hovercraft, 3 of these, and keep swapping it round. But most of the time, this is going to be a handy bonus. What's really good about this is that you get to put a Battle Master upgrade from your KO area onto one of your characters. Now, essentially, a Battle Master is a Transformer, which does not transform. But when it gets KO'd, you can turn it into an upgrade and attach it to one of your characters. Problem is, as soon as it leaves your character, it ends up going into the KO area. So if your opponent drops a Vaporize, for instance, it's gone. And it's not coming back. Until Quartermaster came around, now it can come back. And essentially now, rather than playing a character, which is very weak and easily KO'd, which turns into an upgrade, which is then very easily removed and never comes back, you could potentially bring this back over and over and over again. And some of these upgrades are really, really good. So if we take Private Smashdown, who's not actually in Wave 3, it's going to be a release day promo, but same kind of deal, it turns into an upgrade whereby you get +2 attack, but if you flip more colours of battle icons than your opponent, it turns into +4 attack. And we generally don't get +4 attack without some kind of massive downside. Think things like Grenade Launcher that will give you +4 attack, but then falls off at the end of the turn. Or we could be looking at Private Fire Drive that turns into Duo-Charge Electrostatic Photon Cannon, bit of a mouthful, +3 attack, and when you attack, you grab any number of cards from your hand, getting +1 attack for each card that you upgraded. So you could turn this into a +6, +7 attack, just guaranteeing that you take a key KO. Or there's Raider Aimless that turns into Manifold Ion Particle Blaster. If you attack and flip at least 3 blue icons, you just do a flat 3 damage. Bearing in mind that doing a flat 3 damage is just as good as Bolt of Lightning, and Bolt of Lightning's so good it's a star card, and this is essentially every time you attack. Needs to be in a blue deck, but if it's in a blue deck, that's pretty ridiculous. It means that you can play a blue deck and really go about defending and trying to stop your opponent hurting you, while at the same time really taking advantage of cheeky damage. So you're defending, you're not doing a huge amount of damage while attacking, but it's less relevant because you're getting the free damage when you attack. Certainly one of my favourites. We've also got Sergeant Cog, who turns into Heavy Force Defense Breaking Cannon, +4 attack, and when you put it on a character, you draw a card for each character you have on the battlefield, and then you may play an upgrade onto each of your characters. So you can be drawing potentially 3 cards here, and of course every time you play Quartermaster, you draw those cards again. You draw more cards. And look, Sergeant Cog is a 10 cost. So it's like I said a moment ago. It's a 10 cost with frankly bad stats. It's got slightly worse stats than we would expect on an 8 cost, but it's a 10 cost. And it turns into a phenomenal upgrade. It's just a phenomenal upgrade which is really easily removed, and when removed, you lose for the remainder of the game. Except now, thanks to Quartermaster, you don't lose it for the remainder of the game. You lose it until you draw a Quartermaster. That is significantly better. Or we could take a little bit of a look at Raider Nightstick that turns into Black Beam Blaster. When the upgraded character attacks and you flip at least 2 black icons, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and scraps it. Plus you get +2 attack and +1 defense. It's an Ion Blaster of Optimus Prime, just purely in terms of the stats boost you're getting, though it can be attached to anyone. And then if you flip 2 black icons, you can make your opponent scrap a card from their hand. Or, and I think this is the last one we've seen so far, but we could take a little bit of a look at Private Lionizer, which turns into RS Fire Steel Saber, which gives you Bold 4. Now, bearing in mind, Bold 4 is just as good as Superior Cannon, except Superior Cannon can only be played after a tech research, whereas this can just be played when Private Lionizer is KO'd. And you get Plan 1, which means that when you attack, you may put 1 card from your hand on top of your deck. So it's kind of like Bold 4, but if you've got something like Peace Through Tyranny in hand, you can play it down on top and guarantee that you flip double orange icon, while then flipping 3 extra cards and then going for your regular 2. And I love this. In any deck where you're playing Battle Masters, this seems like a no-brainer. This seems like a, well, of course you're playing multiple. Why would you not be playing multiple? If you're not playing Battle Masters, being able to swap 1 upgrade is fine. I don't think it's particularly great. I think it's fine. But in a Battle Master deck, this is phenomenal. Battle Masters are kind of weak. You kind of want them to get KO'd fairly quickly so that you can turn them into amazing upgrades. But the problem with turning them into upgrades was your opponent could just get rid of them and then they were gone for the game. Now your opponent's in an awkward situation where they can take out this weak character, but if they take out the weak character, they potentially give you access to this upgrade over and over and over again. But if they don't take out the weak character, then they're giving you an extra attack or an extra turn, depending on how many characters are on each side of the field. And it gets kind of awkward for them. So you're forcing awkward situations on your opponent. But it really is, if you are playing Battle Masters, you've got to be playing this. It's a phenomenal card, and I love it. But I would very much like to know what you think about this, so please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about Transformers and a whole bunch of other games. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.